Hi everyone, it's Naomi, and today I have a warm-up video for you that you can use to help bring a little bit more movement to your spine and to just gently wake up your body. So this is one of the videos in the warm-up series that is part of Transform Chaos to Calm. And in this video, I'm going to show you a few ways that you can reintroduce yourself to cat-cow, which I think is one of the most fantastic ways to warm up. It is really simple, really basic, really effective when you want to create more movement and fluidity through your spine. But you can also do some really great work for your core. You can add poses to it and create more movement for your hips and for your hamstrings. You can really do a lot with this simple action, and I'm going to show you a lot of different ways that you can use cat-cow to warm up. So come onto your hands and knees, please. Come into table pose. Okay, so on your hands and knees, blanket underneath your knees. If you need more support, place your hands a little bit ahead of your shoulders. Okay, now with your hands a little bit ahead of your shoulders, the most traditional way to do cat-cow is just as you inhale to soften your belly forward and lengthen your chest through your hands. There's a big tilt in your pelvis. Okay, then as you exhale, chin goes toward your chest, you round up through your back and push the floor away. And then inhale, tilt your pelvis, soften through your belly, stretch your chest through your hands. Maybe even turn your gaze up just a little. And then as you exhale, turn inward, round up. And then move at your own pace here, stretching forward and rounding up and back. Just a few more like this. This is the most traditional way to do cat-cow, and it's effective and it's wonderful. And if you only have a few minutes, I highly recommend doing cat-cow every morning. Okay, one more in this traditional way, rounding up and pulling through. And then you can actually add a little bit more dynamic action. So on your exhale, you could shift your hips back to your heels into child's pose. And as you inhale, you could pull back through table, lower your hips, bend your elbows a little, take your chest through into a back bend. And then round up and back again, shift your hips back, child's pose. A few more times just like this. Pull through. And round up and back. All the way into child's pose. So your hands stay right where they are. Pull through. Hips go down. There's no chaturanga, no push-up, nothing involved here like that. Go back to child's pose. And one more time, pull through into that back bend, and then we're going to add one more little bit to this flow. Okay, so next time you're in table, curl your toes under, lift your knees, and push into downward facing dog. And then lower your knees back down and lengthen your belly and chest forward so you just soften. Okay, then round up and back, child's pose. And then lift up through the back of your body, pull your chest through as your hips lower down, little back bend. Then move through that sequence again. Hips go up, curl your toes under, lift your knees as you exhale, downward facing dog. And then lower your knees back down, soften your belly and chest. And then exhale again, round up and back. Hips go back toward your heels. And then lift your hips up, send your hips forward. Bend your elbows, chest through, little back bend. Okay, just a few more times like this. Hips go up, curl your toes under, exhale. Downward facing dog. And then lower your knees back down. Soften through your belly, tilt your pelvis, chest goes forward. Exhale as you round up and back, hips back to your heels, child's pose. And then lift up through your hips, soften through your belly. Lower your hips, pull your chest through into a little back bend. Lift your hips back up, come into table. So that's just a slightly more dynamic way, and you can move through that with your breath as quickly as your inhales and exhales are going or as slowly as they're going. So it really depends on how fast your breath is and how dynamic you want it to be. Now I want to add just one or two more little flows to your cat-cow. So try it this way. Extend your left leg straight back. Extend your right arm out in front of you. Do a little cat-cow like this. Okay. Lengthen your belly and chest forward and round up and back. Move with your breath. Let your breath guide your actions. This one's really great if you're working on arm strength in your practice. And then switch sides. Pull your left leg back in, right hand back in. Extend your right leg back, left arm out in front of you. And do a little cat-cow here. Good, and then bring your right knee back in, left hand back in, and sit back on your heels. So, those are just a couple of other ways that you can approach cat-cow and some really dynamic ways to start your day. Now, the cool thing about cat-cow is that you can actually add it to pretty much any pose. So you could create an entire morning practice around cat-cow, around that dynamic action of making more movement through your spine. Now, one of the things that you can think about when you're doing cat-cow is trying to create fluid movement through your entire back. So notice as you're moving, which part of your back moves more easily, which part of your back has a little bit more stiffness, and just sort of honor where that is. Like, don't try to force more movement into the part that's stickier, and don't try to create more tightness or stiffness or rigidity in the places that are really fluid, right? You're not necessarily after that. What you are after, though, is just observing how your body works, right? Noticing what feels good and what doesn't, right? Modifying as you need to, and then adding it to other poses. So you could certainly add it to a lunge, for example, and I'll just show really quickly. So you could be in a lunge, right? Go forward and back, right? You could do it on your belly and do a cat-cow here, rounding up and lowering forward, which is really great for your core, incidentally. Okay, so you can pretty much do cat-cow anywhere and everywhere on your yoga mat. So it's a great way to warm up your body, but it's also a great idea for a yoga practice in the morning if you're not quite sure what to do. So I hope that you've enjoyed this warm up. Let me know what you think of it when you try it, and I'll see you back in that again really soon. Bye.